In this video, I'm going to teach you how to figure out how much money you're going to make in a high ticket sales job before you have even started. So when you start going on high ticket sales interviews, you have to be asking these businesses two questions every interview. The first question is, how much money is your business making every month? The second question is, do you have a consistent book calendar of sales calls every day, or at least consistently? Now, the reason you have to ask these two questions is because it's going to help you verify the on-target earnings that they are telling you that you're going to make. So think about any job posting you ever see. They say you will get paid this much money. But since this is sales and what you're going to make can vary, sometimes they're going to lie and they're going to just make up those numbers. So you want to know if they're basing those numbers off of money that the business is making and their past salespeople's results, or do they not make any money and they're just making this up and they're just lying to you? So with numbers, you can get pretty close to figuring out exactly how much money you're going to make in a high ticket sales job before you even start. So we're going to do some examples to drive this home. So I'll do a setter example and a closer example. And if you get the numbers, the data that I'm going to talk about, you can tell how much money you're going to make. It's just math. Guaranteed you will know beforehand. Now, quick story. I had a guy in my program who was going on interviews recently and they were going well. He comes back to me one day and he says, hey, I just had a good interview. They told me my on-target earnings are going to be $15K a month. I can start right away. And I was like, cool, that's great. But before you accept, let's get some numbers and get a little bit more details. And I sent him back with some questions. And then he comes back to me and he's like, well, there's some other details. The product that they're selling is new and they haven't really sold it yet, which is a huge red flag, by the way, if you don't know. And he was like, they don't really have those numbers yet that you were asking for. So first of all, a business shouldn't be hiring a salesperson when they haven't even sold their product yet. Like they should sell it themselves first. You don't need to hire salespeople yet because they don't have a proof of concept. And they don't have a track record of monthly good revenue consistently. So how could the business know what you are going to make as the salesperson, right? They're like, oh, you'll make 15K. Where did you get those numbers? Out of their ass. That's where they came from. Like they haven't even made any money yet. But people don't think about this stuff. So I told him, don't take that job. That's not a good idea. But he didn't listen because he said, oh, well, I really like the guy. I like where this is going, which is a horrible way to make decisions. And he just said he wanted to accept the job. And I said, okay, cool, you're going to get screwed. Fast forward a month later, he comes back and everything I said was correct. He got screwed. He made no money, all because he accepted a job he shouldn't have. So what's going to happen when you go on interviews is they're going to tell you how great this job is and how great this business is. They're never going to tell you, well, we kind of suck. I kind of suck as the business owner, or we don't make any money. They're never going to tell you that, right? Because then you wouldn't take the job. So you need to ask questions to figure this stuff out. And here's how you do that. We're going to start with the appointment setter example. Let's say it's a fitness coaching program and they are telling you you're going to make $6,000 a month. They expect you to work 20 days a month. They want you to book 4 calls a day, and that's 80 booked calls a month. And the expected close rate of those calls is going to be about 20%. That means you're going to get credit for 16 sales because 20% of 80 is 16. Now your commission as a setter traditionally is going to be 5%. The price of this program is $6,000. 16 sales times $6,000 is $96,000. And 5% of 96K is $4,800. So you almost made 5K. It's pretty close. That's not bad. And it's close to the OTE that they quoted you, but it's a little below, right? About $1,200 below. Now, this is going to vary because you're probably not going to get all paid in fulls. And are they paying you on cash collected or revenue? Very important, but you get the idea. If you know how many days that you're going to work a month, how many calls you're expected to book a day, and the expected close rate, and then you factor in the ticket price of the product, your commission rate. With these numbers, you can calculate, okay, are they bullshitting me or am I going to make legit money? So in this example, it's close enough where it's like, okay, this is probably legit with some hard work. I can get to that 6K and beyond as a setter. So you can take a claim that an interviewer gives you on what your OTE is going to be, and you can figure out if it's legitimate or not so that you don't get screwed. And remember, for the sake of this example I just did, this is if you're the only appointment setter. If there are multiple appointment setters on the team, you would need to get the total revenue for the previous month, how many setters they have, and then divide that evenly. but you get the idea. And important to emphasize, this is not going to be 100% accurate, but it will give you a very accurate idea of what you're probably going to make. The point is just to see if they're bullshitting you or not, or if they're being honest about what your on-target earnings will probably be. If they're being honest, then you will probably be able to make what they're quoting you. Because many businesses are going to do what the business in the example with my client did. They're going to try and hire a closer or a setter before they actually need one, because the business owner is lazy and he didn't want to do that upfront work himself. Right? So he's like, well, I don't have to pay a fucking salesperson. They just work on commission. I'll just go hire some idiot to do this work I'm too lazy to do because I suck at business and I should be working a fucking 9 to 5. That's 90% of these fucking people on Instagram. So beware. An online business owner should run the business up until he is so swamped with sales calls that he himself is taking that he's forced to hire a salesperson. Like, hey, I have all these calls that's taking up all my time and I need to work on the other aspects of the business, so I have to hire a salesperson. That is the businesses where you're going to make all the money. A good business owner learns every part of the business himself before he hires someone to do that specific aspect of the business. How else would he be able to teach that person how to do something if he's never fucking done it? Or even know if the person he's hiring is going to be good at this role in the business or not because he's never fucking done it. You see how ridiculous this is? There's no way around this. You can't just hire your way to business success. You have to learn how to do every part of the business if you want to succeed long term and be able to hire people and place them into these roles to do them successfully and take over for you. If you want to run a business and you think you can just hire your way to making tons of money and you never have to learn any skills because some guy on Instagram told you that he did that, reality is going to bend you over ruthlessly. You have to learn the skills. Now let's do a closer role example. And this is if you are the singular closer on the team. You're the only closer. And you can factor in number of closers later, depending on the role, just like we did with the setter example. So let's say you're selling an Amazon FBA program. And again, they're telling you the OTE is going to be $15,000 a month. So this program costs $5,000. This business did $80,000 in revenue last month. They want you to work 20 days a month. You are expected to take 5 calls a day. The closing percentage is 20%. And your commission traditionally is going to be 10%. So out of 100 calls, you close 20 of them. And you get paid 10% of $5,000, which is $500. 20 times $500 is $10K. Now that's not bad money, but it's not the $15K like they quoted you. That's a pretty big difference, okay? And if you're a beginner and you're thinking, well, whatever, I'll take the $10K, that's not the point. It's just an example. The point is to show you how to determine if what they are telling you you're going to make is legit or not. Are they inflating these numbers? Are they totally lying? It's just to get a sense of this. And you can do this with numbers and math, which never lie. This is also a good way to prove that high-ticket closing, high-ticket sales in general, is totally legit. When people say, oh, it's saturated, bro, you'll never make that much, or oh, it's hard to make 10K, they're just idiots that have no experience and have no clue what they're talking about. Math tells you that this is legit. There is no argument. That's why it's so funny to me. But people need to have excuses to give themselves as to why they are total failures. And remember, it's important to ask, how many setters do you have on the team? How many closers do you have on the team? Because you're going to have to divide the monthly revenue by the number of setters or closers on the team, just to reemphasize. Now, there's even more specific. This is pretty basic. Like you can get more specific numbers that you can add into this and go even deeper into getting the exact picture of what's going on inside their business. These are not even all the numbers. You could do call show rate. You could do all these other like really detailed factors. But with the ones that I have given you, that's all you need. You'll get pretty damn close to knowing what you'll be making. So when it comes to evaluating jobs, just look at the information that you have, the information that you can get, and then just analyze it. And then make an informed decision and do something. So this will help you know if they're lying to you or if they're shooting you straight and they're legit. If you do what I talk about in this video, you just ask a few simple questions on the interview, you can avoid a really bad situation and possibly wasting like 3 months of your life. And you can just move on instead and find an actual legitimate role where you can make money. So if you don't vet these jobs on the interview, you don't ask questions like this, you're just asking for it. That's the end of the video. If you want my help getting a closer role or a setter role, go to the links in the description. Until next time.